it, and I can't wait. I get to see you in real life.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
Awesome.
yeah, in real life?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm Dr. Sharnael Wolverton. We've just having trouble getting on today. I don't know why it wasn't letting me log in. So yeah, I'm dressed up because I thought she was dressing up, but I'm a unicorn. Can you tell? Like I'm.
Yes.
Oh, but anyway, we're here back on. We should just do this monthly and have a show and just call it a thing. But I mean, I'm in it if you are. But I'm really happy to have Bianca back, and I just found out that I'm actually going to be a speaker at Conscious Life, and she's a speaker there too. So I get to kind of hang out with her
What?
in real
Cheers
life
to
in
you.
person.
Oh my God. What?
Yes, yeah. So apparently somebody like dropped out or whatever, and they reached out to me, and I'm like, yay! So we are here today to specifically talk about the pineal gland, and of course we have her book. So she's like the expert on this. I know that she is busy packing and she's got a lot of transition going on in her life. And so we want to dive into all the things and then maybe talk about the Conscious Life Expo and just whatever comes up. But welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. And may I start with just, I want to share this tone. This is my,
Ooh,
and I want to share, you're going to feel this in your pineal gland. Okay. I just want to make sure you experience it first thing. Here we go.
nice.
So your pineal gland is the physical antenna for frequencies. So whether you like it or not, when you start listening to frequencies, you're exercising your gland. It's like your pineal gland's doing, it's lifting it's strengthening itself. And you're actually going to notice that you respond to frequencies even more.
I feel it in my heart.
That's interesting you said that because I feel this in my throat chakra. And I didn't get the note that this produces. I'm going to do that and share a video because I recently took a class called Sound Harmony, and it can take the keynote. It's a voice print. It takes the keynote of your voice and says, okay, well, here's the one that's missing, and that's linked to this. And then here's what you can do to, to tune it, to harmonize, to, recite these tones. So I'm just getting a little bit deeper into like vocals and chords, and I never really took a music class, but
That's so cool.
yes. And also I want to respond to what you were saying earlier. Definitely want to make something
Let's
scheduled.
just do like a monthly thing. We'll set up like once a month regular thing. That way people always know how to find us. And we never run out of shit to talk about. That's
Yes,
for sure.
yes. Yeah, and we have basically the same audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was live streaming and I had received your books or your
Yeah.
book and your deck. And
Oh,
it's perfect timing because I am manifesting a miracle right now. Like I really needed this. I opened it up. You know what bibliomancy is? When they used to like just open the Bible and read something and say, that's my reading, right? Well, I did the same thing with your book and with, other books. And it really gave me what I needed to hear. And then what I did with your deck, it was so awesome. I made it like a guessing game. So like I was showing each card and the crystals, and they would guess which one, and then we would go over the properties.
which card did you pick first? I'm curious.
The first one was Pink Moonstone, and it happens to be the one that I don't have. Like I have never had Pink Moonstone. I've had all the other ones except for that. It's so much fun. Like I feel like we should make a game.
I think that's fun. I would love that. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm gonna have my cards and my book at the expo thing too. But yeah, I haven't thought about making a game, but I use them as like flashcards, for kids to learn, what they all do, because I had kids growing up and I started, learning about the crystals, and then they'd be like, "Well, what is this, Mom? What is this?" And so I was just like, I'm just gonna that happen. And then also I use them as just like, some people like to look at the pictures and pick it visually, like what they're drawn to, and they pull it and then they read the back and it's like, oh, that's exactly what I needed every single time.
Mhm.
Or they don't look and they just feel it, and that works too. So what I was going to do a book, but when I started looking into it, I realized that if you have the crystal in your field, it would strengthen you. And if you had it just in an image, it did the exact same thing. And so when I would travel, I would always take like all of these crystals with me, and it was like an extra suitcase. And my husband was like, "Can we not have like 49 crystals on this trip?" And so I was going to make the book, but then I realized if I did a card deck, then whatever one I pick for the day, I can bring it with me in my car or my purse or my back pocket, or if my kids had one, they can put it in their lunchbox or their backpack for the day. Or if you want to stick it underneath someone's mattress that doesn't even believe in it, it's just like, hey, I want to sneak this in there. It was just a way to bring energy to whoever for that day, because it will strengthen your actual field, just like you had the actual crystal, which I think is so cool.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the actual crystal, you're using the sense of touch, but that's just one of five. Like you can smell, like I actually smell rocks. Like I'll pick it up and I'll smell I don't really can't tell what they are, but for some reason, that's one of the senses I use. But you can also, like some people will hit the crystals together, or looking at the crystals, you can receive the information. It's a visual imprint. It's just like you look at the symbols, like the Merkaba or the flower of life. You're going to receive the energy intended into that through the visual. Isn't that amazing? That means we really need to watch what we're looking at.
Oh yeah, and what we're wearing, like the labels, even on like nail polish or clothing. I always like, I'm uber like hypersensitive to like words, and that's how the book and or the card deck happened too. Is I went to go see Dr. Lucky, and he tested that I needed vitamin D, so he went to go put it in my field to see if I would test better. And when I did, I actually went like low. I blinked out, I washed out, and he was like, "What the heck?" Because you need it. So he was like testing me over and over. Go, is it the bottle? No. Is it the label? No. Is yes. He asked if it was the color. No. It was label. Yeah. So he went through every word on the label, and when I got to the word Ecuador, I like went weak again, and I had like a traumatic event in Ecuador. I was hospitalized for 3 weeks there, almost died, and I guess it was still like stored, thing. So he cleared it, and I was like, well, shit, like words are so powerful. Literally just having that bottle with that one word in my field caused my whole body to go weak. And
Yes.
that's why I partnered, like, not just the crystals with the companion oils, but also the decrees, because decrees are so powerful, as you know. I mean, Neville and all those, he's great with that. So but yeah, that's kind of, words are power, whether they're spoken or just written. I mean, you can muscle test, and if you don't have the thing with you, you can just write it on a piece of paper. Let's say pizza, and you could hold it, and you can do the lean muscle testing. Does my body need this? And you'll go backwards, usually pizza or something bad, but positive. You could write a certain crystal name down, and or hold the card of what I have, and just say, does my body need this? And you'll lean forward, and that means you need it. So it's crazy how our body is so in tune to all of these, like all the stimuli, and we're not maybe knowing or thinking about it, but it's just happening all the time. Because I would have never known that the word Ecuador in my field could make me, who knows what else makes me weak that I just don't even know about.
Yes, and we don't know, like traumatic experiences, they hang on to our biofield, and even though we're not actively like thinking of it, it's there. It's lingering, and it could be holding someone back. And I gotta mention something real quick. So I almost never wear black. And it is just weird to me because I always talk about, when I was growing up, I always see cartoons of the angel and the devil on, the shoulders. And I'm getting that feel right now with this. Like you're in your white unicorn with your fluff, with your like it looks like a halo. And here I am with a skeleton behind me.
It's Halloween, dude.
It really does like everything's a sign. And this just makes me realize that, we all have different sides, but we're all like the loving, being that just is expressing different parts of us. So, oh, we got some comments. Yes. I'm really excited. I'm excited to make this a regular show, by the way. So what a great idea, because then we could even, get poll for, topics and stuff. We could talk about so many different things, but yeah, this is going to be fun. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Oh, someone's saying, I love you two ladies together. Yay. This is like our 4th or 5th time.
Yeah.
And we pretty much do it monthly. So why not? Yeah, let's do it. I'm all about it. I'm great.
Yes. And you know what's going to happen is we're going to get picked up by a sponsor and they're going to put us on cable TV.
Ooh.
You never know.
I'm down. Let's do it.
So I'm very excited about you being at the Conscious Life Expo, because it really, not only are you going to be surrounded in just like-minded people, it's almost a trigger for everyone to level up. It's almost like, because you are, so I've been learning about something called the Mastermind. I've never read, I didn't read the books about, Think and Grow Rich. I didn't get into that, but now I'm reading. Is that what you're reading right now?
I'm just doing this live here, but Bob Proctor was my mentor. Is that who you're talking about?
Well, I don't know if he's the one that wrote, it was Napoleon Hill.
Oh yeah. Well, he read Napoleon Hill every single day of his life. Yeah.
So I'm learning about that. And there's one called like the 16 study lessons of success. And it's all about consciousness. And it is so similar to Neville Goddard's teachings. It makes sense to me because I've been listening to Neville Goddard for so long. And now that I'm listening to that, it's like, okay, now I can merge the two together, and all the things that have happened, you just have more clarity. You're like, oh, now that's why I did that. But it's so exciting that you're going to be there, and that we're going to be able to, reach out to, a regular audience. I think that's
Bob Proctor is a biggie with Napoleon Hill, and he would read it every single day. Like, there's something you can get. It's kind of like Neville. Like, I have his book, Imagination Activation, and I have all his books, but there's that one in particular. It's all underlined. It's doggy. I like real books because I like to like smell it and write in it and like carry it around. But that's the one I always travel with, no matter where I am, because I literally just pick it up and do it. What did you call it? You called it the thing where you just pick it up.
Bibliomancy.
Bibliomancy.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of like, the origin of like oracle readings, drawing a card. And, but they did it initially with the Bible. So you would open it up and point, and there's your message. So I do that with all books.
That's funny, because I was talking about Neville this weekend. Laura Eisenhower is a dear bestie of mine, lives up the road, and we did a retreat in Destin. And I was talking about this and how like I do it, but I said it's kind of like Russian roulette. And then I was like, ooh, I don't like that, like verb, like metaphor. Like let's think of something better. And I couldn't think of one. I was just like kind of like a fortune cookie, but I like yours. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to say bibliomancy. I'm going to have to look that up. Yes.
So my focus for Conscious Life Expo is based on my current like research, and I'm in the middle of this move, so I kind of had to put it on hold, but I'm really excited to get it going, because
it's all talk about the move. I see boxes. You didn't dress up because of that. Like, I know you were talking about a retreat center, and if everyone could just believe for her retreat center to come to life, and all the resources involved to be here, because I would like to go there myself, but Tell us about that, and then tell us about the move and like where you're going, like what's going on.
Well, I mean, initially we were gonna do like a sanctuary here, but I'm kind of in the middle of a city, and there's no like nature, there's no water features, there's none of that. So, we listed our house, 2 weeks ago. We're like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Listed the house, and we're just waiting for an offer. We are waiting an offer, and I've got the places I'm looking at have either a stream, or there's one that has a spring on it. So it's going to be able to, like, I'll be able to keep, working on my water. I mean, I'm producing my own mineral water, and having a natural source would be amazing. And so once I've got my move done, then I could get my lab set up. It's just, there's a lot of things that I'm putting in place. And here I have my 8 poodles, and I cannot work around them. Some of the things that, like, I want to produce the Zodiac salt sprays, which is a mineral salt solution, and I can't have my dogs around that. So I really need to just set up my spot, and I'm very
poodles.
Almost like every day I have a new idea of what I'm going to create, and just it's streaming ideas, and they're all like really good things.
I didn't know you had 8 dogs. I love you even more now. I have 5 and 4 cats. So
okay, well, I fibbed. I have 10 dogs. I have 8 poodles and 2 rescues that are big dogs in the backyard. But so they're huskies. So yeah, I
have a husky too.
I love them. I sleep with my dogs, so I eat with my dogs. Everything. So, but interestingly, dog, the opposite of God, right? Isn't that kind of weird?
I don't think it's the opposite. I just think it's the same, reverse speech.
Reverse, yes.
Because opposite would mean they're like not good as God. I think they are good as God. I think they're God.
Yeah, and here's another thing. Like, we call the outside of a tree bark, and a dog barks. Why? So now we're connecting the animal. Oh, I just got goosebumps. I've never said that before. Okay, so why now there's a connection between the tree, which are elders, right? They could be petrified giants. And
did you know that tree means true?
No.
Yes. I'll have to send you the link. I know. I know. I love it. But bark, I never thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then they say, that all dogs go to heaven, right? Why? Maybe they never left heaven, and this is just their avatar, which is what we are too. But just really, like, there's so many, I'm going to call them rabbit holes. But some of them they all lead back to our inquiry of knowing more. The word science is like the art of knowing. So we're all sciencing right now. Okay. If we're trying to learn stuff, we're being
We're geeking out. I love data. I love science. I love experiments. By the way, I have to tell you something. You inspire me so much. I saw something a couple times now about your experience quitting drinking and alcohol. And so I was going to do No November, which is like big for me. And I just actually decided to do it. I chose to do it early. So I started 3 days ago, and I feel freaking fantastic. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to invite anyone here to do No November with me for that accountability. But can you share like your like experience with that? Because my God, like you're such an inspiration.
So that actually goes back to a conspiracy, the 5G and chemtrails. So it was December 5th, and I get up and I see 9 chemtrails outside my house, right? And we all know they exist. We all know geoengineering, weather manipulation. I don't like talking about it too much, right? And so I look, and the night before I drank, I mean, I pretty much was drinking every single day, a little bit of wine on the weekends, maybe a shot of whiskey at night, every night for the last 5 years. But it really adds up. So I wake up and I see the chemtrails. I think there were 9 of them. And I go, wait a minute, someone's poisoning the air. I know it's not good for me. Someone's poisoning my air right now. Why do I poison myself. That literally one sentence, that day I just stopped drinking, and that was December 5th, 2022. And I didn't go through, like, I didn't slow down and none of that. And I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes, because I was smoking a half a pack of cigarettes a day every time I would drink. It came, hand in hand. And I have not ever looked back. I don't miss any part of it. I didn't go through any sort of, physical anything, because energetically I was done. I already cut my ties to drinking energetically and spiritually. So there was no physical, like, nothing happened. So, and I drank quite a bit of whiskey, and it really was not only affecting me physically, but we know that you can get angry, and I'm an Aries. You can't add any anger on top of that. And, it just was countering my intention for life. Like, alcohol, it was killing me. So yeah, it's the best decision ever. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. I don't push it on anyone. It's like, you know what? People are going to do what they do. But if you do decide to stop drinking, you saved your life. You're adding to your life. So thank you. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, well, for me, I kind of had that same epiphany and voice. Like, I get a lot of voices in the morning, especially that, like, kind of pre-wake up time. um I'll just hear something, and I kept hearing several times in a row, stop coffee and stop alcohol. Now, I haven't quit my coffee yet, I'm just saying. I did start some mushroom coffee and tried that, but let me just say this part. So I kept thinking about that, and I kept not listening. And I'm not a huge drinker. I would drink wine, like, with dinner, and then maybe a second one before bed or something. And then, like, weekends, honestly, it's just wine. And I was always like, well, red wine isn't bad. It's supposed to be good for heart, but really, like, no. And so it was a combination of, like, keeping on, how synchronicities, like, I heard you a couple times, and then like, my husband was out of town, and I realized, like, well, when he's out of town, I don't really do it. But then when he's in town, it's kind of like our thing we do together, just like we drink coffee in the morning, we have a glass of wine at dinner, So I was like, I realized when he was out of town, it's not a really big deal if I didn't do it. But the biggie for me was three things. You, for sure, like, hands down, like, oh my God, you're so encouraging. The second thing was, I do hyperbaric, I do red light, I do ozone, I do, like, all these things to detox and to bring oxygen to the body, not, just to bring health. And I'm like, why would I F it up every single night after I spent all this time, like, making more oxygen in my body, but then undo it, like, with a couple glasses of wine or a glass of wine? Like, it kind of was like, and the liver has to work so hard for this whole, detox thing. And so it's like, you're right, poison. I'm like, why would I poison myself? Like, work all day to unpoison myself just to poison myself at night and then start over. When if I didn't poison myself and I'm still doing all the good things, then that could actually go towards so much healing in my body, instead of having to take a time out every time I drink to undo that. And then this retreat, there was a girl named Valerie that was hanging out, and she had just got this, like, aura ring thing, which I just bought because I'm like, now I want to test my data on everything. But she was talking about how when she got her aura ring, that she realized that the days that she drank, when she was doing it to sleep, the days that she drank, she would realize that her heartbeat would go way up during the night to sleep, because her liver was having to detox so hard from the alcohol that it was taking a cardiac hit, because her heart was having to beat more to, like, detox all this stuff. But then when she didn't drink, it would be normal levels. And I'm like, well, I don't want to, like, F up my heart and my like, I
know, right?
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. Like, it's not a big thing. And I'm programming myself, and, like, watching a bunch of YouTube videos on, like, people who do 30 days and what it does. And I've just watched a few in the morning, and I'm just like, this makes sense to me. So I'm good. It's been 3 days. I feel great. And also the biggie is ketosis. So I was choosing to do some keto and or carnivore I haven't done the carnivore yet, but I wrote a book on keto, and I just fell off that wagon once the COVID thing happened. And well, I'm not supposed to say that. Once that C thing happened, I just never went back, and I've tried. But the thing that kicks me out all the time is the alcohol. And I'm like, fine, as long as I don't drink and I can stay in ketosis. But so the diet isn't the issue. It's just adding the alcohol. So I'm like, well, remove that and I'll stay in ketosis. So that was the other thing, is like, I'm just really choosing to get my health right and get rid of this extra 20, 25 pounds, like that's just been hanging out, not going anywhere since all the drama with that C thing. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. And you're a big part of my journey. So thank you. Deuces, love you so much. Very, 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 very cool. But, oh, wait, your live stream on TikTok ended. Is that you or me?
No, that was me. And I am, I'm currently not allowed to go live on Facebook right now. And now I just got banned on TikTok just now.
What are you doing? Like, because we're talking
well, probably because we talked about alcohol. I don't know. But well, on Facebook, it was when I talk about magnets and shungite, it's, there are certain things that we are like, I know you caught yourself when you said, oh, the C word. I know there are, like, if I talk about the properties of the galvanic battery or the benefits of it, we kind of get in a little bit of trouble. Like I've got a few platforms that I'm not allowed on, and now I just got in trouble. So, you know what? That's okay, because I'm actually, so part of Cymotones, which is what I like, my main thing right now. That's kind of why I'm moving. I mean, I closed down my shops, the retail stores, and moving to like the woods so that I can focus on my program. I want to write a second book. I want to write an audio book, actually. And so Cymotones is, I'm going to build in the live streaming. I'm going to build in all my classes. Everything's going to be built in. And that's because we never know. Like, I saw that you had an interview with Santos Bonacci at one point. And when I had done an interview with him, we both got in trouble and our videos were taken down. So I just, like, I don't know, like, there's all these rules with all the different platforms. I'm kind of like putting everything in one spot, and that's in my home base. So,
talk about this, because you're making them, right?
Yes, the galvanic battery.
Tell people about it.
So first off, the galvanic battery.
Is this going to be okay?
No, here's what's really crazy. Okay, that's amazing you said that. You know what I just found out this like yesterday is that our pennies, okay, they used to be copper pennies, right? Well, did you know that our pennies are zinc coated in copper, and we need zinc to balance out our copper? We literally are, I've been looking for zinc, and it's all in copper coins. So if you wear copper on your right arm, and you always, like, the ones you're wearing, you want them to be open, because you want that arc. The energy is like, it encourages that arc, and I don't even know how to explain it properly, but it's an electrical thing. And that's why, the bands are open like this. Or Romans, they had that golden leaf thing. It was a headband. Just, it was basically something like this. But my point is, you can just put a copper penny, which is a zinc penny, in your left pocket, and that will help balance out your energy field, especially if you're wearing copper. I think a lot of people most people, of course, copper is good for us, but there's also, like, you can't have too much of one thing, because there's an imbalance in your body. So finding out that zinc in pennies, and you can take a quarter and burn it, and it'll turn into copper. I mean, just, again, I like research and experiments, and I'm doing these things myself. But as far as the galvanic battery, like, I have so many people asking for these, and once I move, I'm going to have a smithing setup. I brought it to a couple people to recreate, and they said it was too, like, I needed a tinker. Like, they were recommending me to go to like a watch person, but I am going to pursue it myself. Yes, I'm seeing a comment with the penny loafers. Yeah, that's why we had the pennies in the shoes.
Whoa.
Right?
That's really cool. Yes, okay. And S. Hayes is saying, hey, post this on your website then, Bianca. Yeah.
Well, probably not this one. What I'm doing is I'm taking my videos and my content. So this will be on Dr. Sharnael's website and her YouTube.
Cool. Yes, yes. Well, I am really, really excited, and we have about like 25 minutes left here, but let's dive into this pineal gland. I saw you have like one of your necklaces, you're wearing something with it. Yes. And then you usually have it in your background, but I know you're moving.
Yes, we took down the our tapestry. So this is like, you could really see it as the Eye of Ra, but then you flip it over and it's what? The Eye of Horus. So most people really only see one, right? The third eye, which is really here, and it's represented by that Egyptian. Oops, can you see that? Because it's black. See that right there? So it can go either here. Well, that looks kind of nice. Or here, and it's the representation of your magnetic side and your electric side, or your masculine and feminine, your pineal and your pituitary, or Mary and Joseph. I mean, they are all they're the opposites that are part of the whole. And so when we talk about the pineal gland or the third eye, it's really about syncing up the brain. The pineal gland is right in the middle. It's smack dab in the middle in a lake of cerebral fluid, which, by the way, I think is snot. Pardon me for saying that, but I mean, our nose is a drain for our brain. Okay. Our olfactory nerve is right there by our pineal and pituitary, which sits in cerebral fluid. And our cerebral fluid is like, clear, milky fluid. Is that the same thing? I don't know. We're going to have to science into that a little bit more, but.
Say hi. You're on TikTok here, whether they like it or not. They're not taking me down. But yeah. What's funny is when I've talked about it, I've literally had people say like, "Oh, that's the devil," blah blah. I'm like, you literally have one in your brain. Like, I'm talking about a body part. This is science. This is not. This is like physiology. And I literally have been accused of like this being satanic, and I'm like, oh, I probably can't say that word. You know what I mean? I'm like, seriously?
So I want to actually share. So I have a document that comes with my machine, the Cyma machine, and it explains just super high level, like what the third eye does. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I just want to share a few things. Okay. So it's part of our hormonal balance. It helps to regulate glucose. I mean, this isn't just like a third eye woo-woo thing that's like, oh, you can see into your dreams and you can, tell the future. Yeah, it could do that too. But it also produces melatonin and serotonin. So I'm just going to read off a few more things. It's linked to regulating stress, glucose, and minerals to the thyroid, which balances metabolism. It also helps cycle the kidneys, which regulates water to the heart, regulating blood pressure. This is all the pineal gland, okay? This is the brain. The brain is the brains of your body. The brain is what, like the rest of your body, they know what to do, but they don't really know when to do it, when they should start and stop. And that's why you have hyper and hypo. There's nothing wrong with your thyroid. It didn't get the command. The command center is your brain, your pineal and pituitary. So it's also related to our reproductive system, our pancreas, our weight management. It is when people talk about the third eye, you're like, oh, Illuminati, and you're like putting the pyramid up and you're like doing this, but that's kind of what some people know, but you got to dig deeper than that. And people do. If you're interested enough, you're going to dig deeper and you're going to learn. And the people that don't, that's not my problem. It's not their problem either. We all have different experiences. And I'm at the point of my awakening that I understand everyone needs to go through what they're going through. So I'm being an example to myself. I'm doing the best that I can for me. And yeah, maybe it'll affect, maybe you stop drinking or help you, or maybe someone made better decisions. That's fine and dandy. I'm super happy for you guys, but that can't be what pushes you. You've got to be pushed internally and say, I want to do this because this is what my heart is aching for. This is what, like, it's in your brain, right? The thought is going to be in your brain until you take action, and you're the holder of this thought. You can either manifest it or accidentally manifest something else. See, that's the thing, is we're always manifesting. We're manifesting something right now from this conversation. And you're either intentionally doing it with focus, concentration, not being distracted and having a goal. You've got to have goal or goals, or you're going to accidentally manifest because of a silly decision, or you were drinking, or you wanted to go with the flow, or you were with friends. So it really is about coming back to your own, saying, what does Bianca want? What does Bianca need? And then living in that state, in that feeling. And I'm seeing a lot of people doing that, which, but I think it's also because that's what I follow. So your life is an algorithm of what your beliefs are, just like your social media is an algorithm for, your timelines. So whatever you focus on, that's the timeline you experience. And Neville Goddard, like, I love him. I think I've seen him in my dreams. I think I know that I am on the right path because of his words. And it really is. It's like, I'm happy. Maybe things aren't going exactly what I need them to be. I mean, I could use a house buyer right now, but I'm happy. I'm excited for life and for possibilities. So for miracles, yes, like your book, which I have glanced through, but I'm not like a reader straight through. I'll probably read from back to front. I'm kind of one of those type of
I do that too. Well, when you mentioned the thing, knowing something versus doing it, I was on the beach at the retreat this weekend, and what I heard was knowing and doing isn't the same thing. And when we know, we actually do it. When we're doing it, we actually know it. And so I was like, wow, that was, I shared that on Saturday night. It's just one of those, like, it literally came in with the waves. I was sitting on the beach and the waves came in, and I was like, what do you need to tell me? I had this little shell that I picked up, and I was like, tell me what I need to talk about tonight. You have any good mysteries for me? And then I just heard that, and I heard a couple other things too. But I love how you said that we're always manifesting. So if we have, like, we can make shitty shit or we could make awesome stuff. And I used to say things like go big or go home, but then I realized when we're home, we are in our best and we're creating the positive instead of by default by all those subconscious, fears and doubts and conscious language or whatever it is that's going on that maybe creates that 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of energetic purgatory kind of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to say go big or go home anymore. How about, like, let's stay home and go big? Like, come on, like, let's create some really cool stuff. And I even talk about that in my book. I'll say, like, you're making stuff anyway, so why don't you make good stuff, and, like, that's just kind of my idea, or what came to me, kind of like the poison thing. It's like, if I'm making good stuff, why don't I just continue making good stuff and not, like, retract, and so for me, it's like, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all for the glory of God. I actually looked up that word. I'm not a Bible person, but I looked up the word glory to see what the actual word meant, and it was like doska. And it actually means the manifestation of God, and God to me is source. So it's like, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, all means all, right? All. Drink, eat, whatever you do, all is for the glory of God. And it's like, okay, so everything's for the manifestation of God and source. Whether, we can do it this way in the negative, or this way in the positive, or maybe this way's in the negative and that's the positive. But, like, let's just create good stuff. I mean, why not? Like, let's clear all the stuff, the programming that is defaulting bullcrap programs. If we can clear the ancestral stuff, clear whatever. That's why I love your Cymotones and all that, because that's a good clearing mechanism, and even that tone thing you did at the beginning, that stuff clears. There's a lot of things that can clear, and then we can, like, start creating better by default.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if the default is actually positive, where we're programmed so much in the positive that even default is positive? That could be brainwash yourself in the positive.
Yeah. I posted something the other day. I said, everyone's a good person. They just don't know how to act like one yet. And the thing is, like, my default is different now. Like 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. I was in a totally different state of mind. I was, had different spirits in my body, for one, and I just haven't learned. And it's an experience. It's about experiencing. Like, you're never going to know the pain of childbirth if you didn't go through it. You can try to describe it, but you can't. It's about experience. And when and the universe. Hi, puppy.
This is one of my.
Yeah, I'm surprised mine over here has been quiet. Oh, hi.
Anyway.
So you know what? Dogs are they're messengers. I whisper to the dogs and I talk to them, and I realize that everything you say to the dog, you're saying to God. You're saying to the universe and to yourself. So God and dog, it is like a mirror, right? I mean, I do mirror work now, but when we talk to our animals, they are the mirrors, they're reflections, and of like pure, innocent, spirit.
Yep, I agree.
Such a cutie.
I agree. And I think that anyone who reads your book, and I'm plugging you because it's like, I wouldn't make up this. Like, literally, your book is a reprogram. This is a lot of reprogramming. Anything Neville is reprogramming for people to completely, like, brainwash themselves. But that word, that terminology, it's kind of like has a bad connotation, but it doesn't have to be. We can brainwash into a positive default. So you're right. As I mean, I'm not the same person that I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And yet, so there's certain things now, like, for example, I used to kind of say things like, oh, there's always something. And that meant like negative. Like anytime something bad would happen, I'd be like, there's always something, and I realized I got that from my family. They would say that over and over, and sometimes they still do. But now when something happens, I'm like, there's always something positive.
Yes.
Everything works for me. And like, replace it, like you said, because if you don't replace it, then the verse stays the same. But if you reverse it and replace it with something new and make it a new verse, verse again, a brand new song, a brand new sound, we create something different with our voice, and we get something different in the field, because this is going out and it's a radiation, and it's also a magnet back.
Mm-hmm. And then once you've plugged that in, once you've plugged in your thoughts and your words and you're reversing your code, there's a little bit of time to manifest. There's a little bit of waiting period, and the patience. I found out, I can't remember the actual word, but the root word of patience was waiting for God to act. Like, literally, again, some people get scared when I say God. Like, I love God. I believe in God, and I pray to God. But I also like pray to the trees, and I like water, and I pray to the water. I pray to myself. So it's about like all of it. It's all one thing. So God maybe is like the noun that we describe it, but whatever you need to put you in a positive state of mind, because what you're thinking of is going to manifest. The code for your life comes from nowhere else except for your thoughts. And we think of stuff, but we got to give it like a good, 72 hours of straight thinking. They said it's 17 seconds starts the imprint, right? If you go for 68 seconds, it begins a, what was that word? I can't remember the word, but it starts manifesting even quicker. What was the word?
Momentum.
Yes, momentum. Maybe we watched the same video.
I don't know. I just know. I know it takes 21 days to recreate a pathway in the brain. Like, the dendrites fall off, break, and we create this whole new way of like thinking, literally a brand new path of thinking.
It's
And
like
so,
it's like a whole new life. It
yeah,
really is, because there's people and experiences that I've had many, many years ago, or even like a few months ago, that I can't even think about. Like I can't even remember. And I don't blame it on, oh, my memory, blah, blah, blah. You know what? It's not my life anymore. I'm in a different time zone, like life zone. I'm in a totally different
timeline.
timeline, right? Totally different timeline. That person, those different versions of me, I can't recall them, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And that's why I get really excited about like what's going on right now. What am I doing in the next few moments and the next few days, mapping it out. I have a really specific goal, several goals, like the sanctuary. And a sanctuary is really a place for, like, you, for example, you gather a group of people and you're like, it's all this spirit, and it's called a mastermind. When you gather a group of people like that, you're building a mastermind that everyone can pull from. It's kind of like you've created this energy ball and everyone is plugged in, and it's such a powerful thing. That's what I'm just learning about right now. And so a place where people can go to just like unplug, restart, redo, reverse, and set their tone and say, this is how it is. And you're surrounded with people that know that know it's going to happen for you. It's a support system. It's a quiet place, and it's fun. And I think it's like, I need a place like that. And we're all the same people. Like if I need it, probably other people need it too. So, and it'll be a place for me to be able to train people. So I've got several people that are healers that want to implement Cymotones in person and not just online as an associate. So yeah, getting them, one-on-one training with me for maybe 2 weeks, where we're treating actual people, because we'll have people that come in for free treatment and we're practicing on them. We are practicing. There's no negative side effects to sound. Like you can't hurt yourself listening to classical music all day for 24/7. You can't. It's just going to continue to help you, right? So yeah, I'm very excited about that. A lot of things going on. It's almost like I don't even know. Like there's so many things going on that are still coming into my brain. Like, why don't you do this? Like I've got this lollipop speaker I'm manufacturing right now. It vibrates in your mouth.
A lollipop speaker.
Yeah. So in 2007, Hasbro came out with a toothbrush called Tunes that produced bone conduction vibrations through the bristle. It played for minutes. Yeah, they discontinued it, and now I can't find it. I found one on eBay for $50, which I bought, and I'm gonna tweak it to play my sounds. So, but I need to. So I was able to find someone. What that's gonna do is give direct contact to your teeth and gums while you're listening to the frequencies, and it's amazing. Like it already works well. Like you can just put the speaker right. Like this is my speaker. You can put it right up to your face, and it feels closer. You can feel the vibration. But this is in your mouth, in your bone, which your tooth is your skeletal system. So it's going through like direct access. It's just, again, it's one of those things like, okay, what else do I got to go, going on? But it's all these things like what excites you? That's what the pineal gland is about, really. Your pineal gland is your imagination and your creativity. Like, what do you want to do today? Maybe you want to design, you've got this dress in mind or this dance in mind. Do that. So all of us have this thing that we're supposed to be doing, or maybe you're supposed to not do anything.
That's true.
That might be the thing, though. Like
that's a whole topic. That's a whole nother topic of being still and like, yeah, for sure.
Imagine doing a podcast where we don't speak.
Someone just asked Laura and I to come do a silent retreat. And I thought it was kind of funny because I was like, well, why would you even need us there if we're not talking?
So my retreat is a silent retreat. No shoes and no speaking.
Nice.
That's the intention. And all the, I guess, instructions, and you'll have guides to all the different elemental like places that you're going to be rejuvenating at, like a fire station, it's gonna be like Dragon Ball Z, or no, not Dragon Ball. It's gonna be like an avatar. But yeah, silence. There's so much in silence, and imagine a few people in silence. Like you'll be able to.
Have you done one before? Have you ever done a silent retreat?
No, I've not done a silent retreat in a space, but I've done like for myself. Like I've spent several days in silence. I actually built a salt cave, and I spent quite a bit of time in there, where you just sit in a cave and there's nothing there, but you and salt. I like silence. There's a lot of things in my mind that keep me entertained. So
honestly, I love silence too. My husband's out of town every other week, and so is my daughter, and they happen to both be gone on the same week. And that is my time. I mean, I work during the day, and then like pretty much the afternoon up, I'm like just listening. I think that, I used to teach a lot on dreams and visions, and I found out, like, just thinking about it one day, I'm like, the most revelation I get is through dreams, probably because I'm too damn busy during the day that I'm not even listening to be able to hear anything. It's like I have to be knocked out to actually get revelation. That's not cool. So like silence is, I don't have music on. I mean, sometimes I'll listen to Neville in the background, or like, music, and 432, or some sort of Cymotones stuff, but otherwise I'm just like, everything's off. I might hear a dog bark, every now and then, which is God anyway. But so yeah, it's pretty cool. And talking about the tooth thing, I just found, so I do a lot of ozone, and which I love. And if anyone's interested in ozone at home, you can go to my website, drsharnael.com, and there is a link in there, ozone at home, and it will give you like an educational email like every 3 days about all the ozone stuff. But there is a literal mouthpiece, and you can ozone your mouth and literally reverse a cavity, or like you won't have to get like a cap or a crown, or if you have an infection, it totally reverses it. And ozone used to be used, and still is overseas, used in hospitals instead of all the cleaning supplies. They use it in hotels and restaurants and bathrooms to like basically clean in a nice way without all the side effects. But we could do this at home. So I mean, there's a lot of tools out there that don't have the negative side effects, that can like reverse all of these things that we're, in this avatar we're in with chemtrails and water. And so I'm excited to hear about your water thing. Like that's, and we'll have to talk about, I don't, we'll think, you guys have any ideas for a topic for next month, then we're open. So just give us some ideas. But yeah, we're coming up at the hour. It's already, it always goes by so fast.
right?
It's so
Yeah,
fast.
it does. And you know what? Time's just a weird thing. Like when you're bored, it drags on. And then when you're in excitement and being passionate, you look and you're like, what happened? So it's one of those things, like we're going to eventually figure out how to manipulate or maneuver energy, including time and space. And, but until then, we're really just learning to maneuver like our emotions, our physical body, even, even our mind, like what are the things we need to think about? I have to I've got to say, okay, stop. You got to think about this. When something gets into my head that I know is not right, when you catch it, that it's not a good thing for you, you got to replace it. Because if you don't, it's going to start rooting, and it's going to start going like, stick there. So I go right to Neville Goddard. I go right into, affirmations, and what am I repeating? What am I repeating? So I'm seeing a lot of comments. Oh my gosh. Thank you everyone for being here.
Someone's asking about my necklace. This is a creation of ions that come. So if I have to be inside around electronics or whatever, it actually pushes ions in my field and in my like breathing. And yeah, if anyone's interested, you can contact me at my email or find me on Facebook or something. But someone else was asking something about my dog. Yes, it's a Pomeranian. That's so cool. She has the agouti gene, so she literally has wolf in her. Because I love wolves. Wolves are my thing. I think, didn't you say wolves are your thing? Like, this is my wolf tattoo. Like, I just love wolves. But thank you.
Yeah, I love wolves so much. I named my youngest son Logan because I couldn't name him Wolverine. But like, I'm a huge wolf fan. That's probably why I've got that my two big dogs, they look like wolves. So
yeah, I had a dog named a Pomeranian named Wolfie, but she just passed, and so we just got her. She's Sophia or Sophie. But yeah, I didn't know you were a wolf person too, or that you had huskies. So that's really, really cool. But if you guys could do us a favor and share this, like give us comments and likes and all the things for that algorithm thing that we're talking about, because we don't want to be hidden. This is important information, I think, and I would love for you guys to share it and get it out and like let other people hear. Maybe there's something that we said today that can ignite or be a catalyst for someone else to make some change, or maybe they want to stop drinking for November, or who knows, like who knows what we say can sometimes help someone in this weird time that we're in with like elections and like crazy energies happening with the weather and all the other stuff. So,
mud floods. I mean, I don't want to get into that, but we need to spend a day of conspiracies, because it's not a conspiracy. It's a thing. But I mean, I'm just seeing it now. I don't want to extend this on that, but wow, there's crazy weather manipulation going on, and we need to keep praying, because your prayers change the world. Like, it actually does. You may not think it, but it does. Pray for yourself, pray for your neighbor, pray for everyone in your world, because it's kind of like the idea of purgatory, where they say, oh, if someone's in purgatory, you pray for them, they get blessings and they can go to heaven. Well, we're in purgatory, okay? We all could use prayers, and I send prayers out to everyone all the time, and I just hope that, we're all going to be extremely like in that space at one point, and we just have to be a little patient. Have to be a little patient for it to happen.
Yeah, and I've even prayed over like my water, my food, because they have science about like that changing thing. I actually this is another reason why I did the cards, is I will take my card and I will put my drink like on top of it. So it'll charge my water, and that the decrees that I have on here charge my water, not just the crystal, but the decrees and the oils and all that. But yeah, there's lots of science to prayer. So prayer is just communication. And in like scripture says, pray without ceasing. We are praying anyway all the time, because we're always thinking to ourselves or talking to ourselves, or all those voices. But like, why don't we make it a positive prayer, like by default, and retrain the brain or reverse the brain, or create a new path for positive defaults, so that the brainwashing is positive. That's the thing. And that's what I'm going to leave with you guys, and wishing you well. When's move day? Do you know?
Oh, as soon as I'm sold, I'm gone.
You're just packing as if it's happening. Yes.
I'm just going to continue to pack, acting as if it's already sold. So you've got to act as if it's already happened, and the universe will catch up.
Yes. Well, we are all putting our positive vibes to your buyer already being here. I'm so thankful, and I celebrate that your buyer has an offer that's better than you've ever imagined.
Yes.
Way above like normal, like just way, way above your imagination, and the positive, like over and above your highest thought. And that all of that can be returned to come back into your next spot, sanctuary. And we're agreeing for a smooth, easy move, all your resources for the sanctuary, and for everything to be perfectly easy and fun, and all, for anyone that needs to help with the move, that they're all there. And just, that's what I'm saying. Let's all put that out. Lots of love. Everyone's saying, please, yes, so it might be. Let's pray for something like that.
Can we do a live show when we meet up at the Conscious Life Expo? Let's remember that. Like, we got to do like one where we're actually like in front of each other after.
In real life, let's do a show there. Yeah,
let's do a live studio audience, and like, you get a car, you get a car.
Love it. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us today. And we will see you next month. We'll figure out when we're going to do this. And thank you for your love and for all your great comments and for sharing. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Bye. Thank you.